So with that, I'm going to convene the 5,536th meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago. Rotary 1 is now in session, and we're going to kick off today's action-packed agenda with the thought of the day by one of our newest members, Don Mitkiss. Don, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Eric. Again, my name is Don Mitkiss. I'm the Director of Clinical Outreach and Business Development for Banyan Treatment Centers, and I wanted to highlight that September is National Recovery Month, which is National Recovery Month is about raising awareness about substance use disorder, about mental health issues, that recovery, the message is recovery is possible. As we meet in this virtual environment, our disconnectedness is highlighted now more than ever. Rates of depression and anxiety are going up, rates of substance use are going up, rates of overdose are going up. So please, as you go through life and you are reaching out to other people, simply ask, how are you doing? Take the time to ask people, how are you doing? And if they're not doing well, if they give you an honest answer, please encourage them to seek help. Help is available and recovery is possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don. I think that's really important during the pandemic to really bring our attention to that. And I would just add on that to say that as Rotarians, one of the things that I think we can do as a club to help our own members is to make sure that we do reach out to other Rotarians that we know, and just make sure that they're okay. If there's somebody on here who you're used to seeing at our weekly lunches and you haven't seen them in a while, and you're close to them, reach out and see how they're doing. I think that would be, I think that's a really nice thing to be able to do. So to move on to our program here, or before we actually get started on our program, speaking of people that you would normally see at in-person meetings, I do want to do a survey again. Last week we did it. We'll do it again today, basically to gauge people's level of comfort with meeting in person at the Union League Club of Chicago. It's a very simple survey. It is now in the chat box. If you answered it last week, you don't have to answer it again this week. I'm just trying to pick up people who weren't on the meeting last week. So if you're a Rotary 1 member and you weren't on last week to answer the survey, please do answer the survey. It takes about 5 seconds. I just want to know people's level of comfort before we start exploring in-person meetings at the Union League Club. We already have had and will continue to have our first Tuesdays, the evening meetings, as in-person meetings outdoors, weather permitting. So while you're answering that, I want to just reiterate that as we go through the program today, and it's a pretty packed agenda with a lot of great material on what your club is doing and how we're doing in terms of implementing the strategic plan and how our committees are doing and what they're up to. Do type questions in the chat box and we will try to get to those. If we don't have time to get to everything, I will be sticking around and some of our committee chairs will be sticking around after 1:20 and we can answer any further questions you may have at that time. I want to make sure this is as interactive as it possibly can be over Zoom and with our various time constraints. So that's kind of the plan for today. So then I'm going to start out with kind of the high-level overview of the strategic plan and the strategic plan implementation. If I could get those slides up. All right. So for those of you who have in detail read through every page of the strategic plan, you'll know that what we have are a series of high-level goals with slightly more focused objectives and then specific actionable strategies. What we've done is started tracking whether or not we're making progress on these strategies. Each of these strategies is assigned to a particular committee or a particular role within the club to make sure that it gets done and there's accountability. Now, I'm obviously not going to sit here and go through, because we have 5 goals. So I'm just going to sort of touch on a couple of high-level items here. Green essentially means that's a strategy that we have implemented and now it's ongoing. We're continuing to implement that. Yellow means that we've started. We're thinking through it. Committees or individuals are working on it, but we haven't quite gotten it yet. And red means we just haven't started yet. And you'll see, for example, with this slide, looking at kind of that high level planning and prioritizing. So this is, are we focusing and institutionalizing our strategic plan the way we should be? And there are some things in here that are red, but that's because they simply, we haven't gotten to the point where we need to do those things yet, like doing a survey at the end of the Rotary year, for example. But I think you'll notice as we go through these that we have a lot of green and a lot of yellow and not so much red. And I just want to say I'm really proud of all of our committees and all of our board members and everybody just for really hitting the ground running on this. And Cam as well, thank you so much for all that you've done to make a lot of these things a reality. The good news is that this was, a lot of these things started happening organically as we were doing the strategic plan last year under Marshall's presidency. As we were doing that and as Cam was getting up to speed, a lot of these things were sort of rising to the surface and we were just naturally starting to do those things. So for example, the first one on here, all of our committees have gone through and developed their own focused mini strategic plans, if you will, that align with the larger strategic plan. Other things on here that are green, making our board members accessible to members, announcing those meetings, making sure they're on the calendars, our duties and expectations for roles within the club, updating the bylaws. We did that last year, for example. Next slide, please. So implementing together. Again, through the mini strategic plans of our service committees, we made sure that the concept of service being a key part of what we fund and what we do has been incorporated there. We've also, again, thanks to Cam, I think done now a really good job of making sure that there's actual mechanisms to sign up for volunteer work. And we're trying to do a better job of recognizing our volunteer work and expanding our service opportunities. And again, I think we're doing a pretty good job of that, but we can continue to do more. Next slide, please. Reporting on our success. This slide here is almost entirely related to our PR and marketing committee, so we didn't really give them too much to do for this year. But of course, the first item on here is create a PR and marketing committee, which we've done. And I just really want to thank Marilyn and Nita and Mark and Carly and others who have just stepped up to do an incredible job, yeoman's effort, to really start tackling this list. And as you can see, really everything has kind of started to get underway and we've started to think through each of these items, and some stuff has actually been done, like the website, or really beefing up the social media presence and things such as that. Next goal, please. So growing membership. Again, there's some stuff that we're doing well here. Item B, leveraging technology for meetings. We were kind of forced to do that. That was not the original intent, but you know, there we are. Most other things are underway in some fashion or another. This one has a little bit more red in it, just because a lot of these items here really were written with the intent of in-person meetings. The idea of in-person meetings, and don't maybe translate as well to the Zoom universe. But as we get back to in-person meetings, we can start on those items as well. And then finally, the goal number 5, please. So this is community impact. And we obviously are having a community impact, and we're really beefing up how we're doing that, and the service projects and so forth. But there's definitely some things here that we still need to work on, making sure that we're really measuring the impact we have from each of our service projects is something that we continue to work to try to figure out, and making sure that we're promoting our own members as well. We've really started doing a lot of that, but there's still a lot of work to be done there. And obviously, there's a lot of strategies here in the strategic plan. The intention was not that we would start and complete every one of these in month number one. It is a 5-year strategic plan after all. So when I look at this and I see how little red there is and how much yellow or green, I'm very impressed. So you all can give yourselves a pat on the back for the great work that you all have done. And then if you move to the next slide here, we have several high-level metrics as well. Some of which are going to be a little bit harder to measure until we've had a year pass, but there are two that I wanted to share here with you today. The first one relates to grow membership, and obviously total members is one of the metrics, one of the high-level metrics we've looked at, and that's always a little bit of a tricky one because it kind of bounces around quite a bit. We have had a little bit of a membership gain since July 1, but I wanted to also put a little note on here that actually since April 1, we've had 12 new members. Now, I'm benchmarking against July 1 because that's the beginning of the Rotary year. So it may not look that impressive when you see that the dial's only moved a little bit, but that's against July 1. A lot of those new members came in at the end of Marshall's year. And of course, there's always always a few members come and that sometimes a few members go, but it has been a net gain. So I'm really, really happy to see such an increase in new membership. One of whom is Dawn, who gave her thought of the day today, and Natalie as well, who's also on here today. One of the other high-level metrics on the Implement Together side, we want to make sure we're giving enough volunteer opportunities, and we also want to make sure that our members are stepping up to do the hands-on service, since we heard from so many people that was really important here. And I think that has really been happening. Just in really 2.5 months, so starting July 1, we've had 12% of our members actually go out to in-person service projects. And many of those people went more than once, which is not reflected in that 12%. But it's just been a really good turnout. And as we go through the various announcements at the end of our meeting today, you'll see that there are more service opportunities that will be coming up. So hope to see many of you out there. So right now I'm going to move into committee chair reports. And again, if you have questions later, pop them in the chat box or do stick around. You all should know by now I like to talk about strategic plans and strategic planning. So always happy to chat ad nauseum on that. So now I want to move into our committee chair reports, because many of those strategies really are housed with our committees. And so I want to hear from our committee chairs an update on the work that they've been doing, and also a little bit of a call to action here too, right? Because for those of you who are not involved in committees, please do get involved in one, and then you can leverage your expertise for this club, and you can figure out how the business of the club is done and how we prioritize our funding and so forth. I mean, at the end of the day, our club, right, it's all about our members. You're the lifeblood of the club, really. It is your club. So what we're going to start out with here for our committees is not our service committees, but I do want to start out with membership. So Laura Inns, membership chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eric. So as Eric just pointed out, our membership is currently at 168 active members, and those includes the 12 new members we've had since April 1st. And that's been great. It's been really exciting to see the new people and people actively participating even in the circumstances that we're in. So part of that increase is that since April, we've been having a membership drive. So I do want to take a moment and kind of go through that, because all of you, this is something you should be sharing with people you know. Right now, as part of that drive, there's no proposal fee. So the $350 proposal fee is waived. And there's also no charge for dues as long as we're meeting remotely, unless, of course, the board decides otherwise. So it's really a great opportunity for people to start getting involved with no cost at the beginning. I also want to take a moment to remind everybody here that we also have a spousal membership, so that spouses can join for just $25 a month, and then pay for meetings like as they go. But it's a great opportunity to engage other people that that have been listening to you hopefully talk about Rotary, is by having another person in your life join us. I also want to remind people that right now it's free for anybody to visit. So I know, like, when I see certain events coming up, I invite people in other networking groups or other things that I'm connected with. So like next week we have John Cowley with the CEO with Amicus Therapeutics, which is, they handle genetic diseases. And so anybody with medical interests or maybe executive interests, that would be a perfect fit. Also in early October, when we have our next in-person event, that'll be Fernando Jones, the musician. What a great way, whether you appear in person or virtually, sharing the love of music. So I always like to just try and think of the people I know who really are into music and invite them to something like this, just to expose people to Rotary. And so really all of you, my call to action for all of you is to think to yourself about who you can share this with, to invite them to something free where there's no cost and they can do it out of their home, and join us. Let's see. Also, just some other things that are going on here. I'm looking at my time because I know Eric will get sad if I'm over time. But we are working on being more transparent about the different pay options. We are working, the board is working on developing some kind of programs to make sure that we don't lose people in this economic downturn. It's just a part of life that when we experience an economic downturn, we're going to have more members who are struggling. And so if that's you, or if somebody is struggling, please have them reach out to me, because we don't want to see people just quit. We really want to be here and take care of each other, just like has been said from the beginning of this meeting with the lovely thought from Don. All right, I'll stop talking now.
Thank you very much, Laura. Completely agree with all of that. You're spot on. And getting back to your point about sharing with others, I would sort of further that call to action to say, every time we have a meeting coming up, if you're on social media, if you can post it, that is super helpful. Make sure you see all the tags right here. Make sure you like Rotary One. You're going to hear about this later from our PR and marketing committee, and you'll see all the announcements with all the registration links and everything come through on social media. And if you're not on social media, I do challenge you to, if you have an interesting program coming up, email it out, call, whatever, 2 people who might be interested in sitting in for free for an awesome speaker. So our next committee really comes back to, again, something that we heard in the strategic plan, that people want more transparency, understanding the leadership nomination process. And so I am asking our nominating committee chair, Marshall Schmidt, to give us a little update on the nominating committee. Marshall, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Eric. So the one task that the immediate past president of Rotary One is given is to chair the nominating committee. Invitations have gone out to members of that committee, and I already have one acceptance. So if you received an invitation from me, my call to action is accepted. Really like to have you on the committee. That being said, as Eric said, we really would like to increase participation in the process of choosing our future leaders. So the nominating committee is charged with nominating a president, designee, or nominee, the next person in the line of succession, a secretary, a treasurer for the board, and then 4 directors. The board positions rotate every 2 years, and the director can only serve 2 consecutive terms. So we really would like suggestions for people that you think would be very good leaders. And the process is that the committee will meet, develop a nominating slate, and then the tradition is to conduct interviews of the nominees for the president nominee position, so that or candidates for that position, so we get a handle on who would be a good president 3 years from now. So please contact me, or once the committee members become public, which we will publish in the Gyrator. Please reach out to us. Let us know who you think would be a good leader. If you want to participate in the leadership, either as a board member or as the secretary or treasurer, please reach out to us and let us know. The timing of it is that the bylaws have a very strict timeline backing up from the annual meeting. And the bottom line is you will be presented with a slate of candidates at a meeting in November. And then at the annual meeting, assuming there are no other candidates suggested, we will approve a slate at the annual meeting. Which, Eric, what is the date of the annual meeting again?
I believe it's December 15th. Karen or Shelby or Tamara, can you correct me if I'm wrong on that?
In any event, what I have on my schedule is that makes sense. I have November 10th as the date by which we need to present the slate. And then there's a period of 3 weeks during which people can recommend other candidates. And then the vote is taken at the annual meeting in December. So that's all I have, Eric. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall. So it is December 15th, just looking at my calendar. So with that, I want to move on to our 3 service committees, and we're going to start with international service. So Marga and/or Betsy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eric. It's Betsy. And first of all, I want to refer back to what Laura was saying about spousal membership. And I'm a spousal member, and some of us get really involved. So if anyone has a spouse who might be interested, bring them on in. Okay, International Services Committee. As Eric had asked, and we were totally behind, we developed a strategic plan earlier this year. And Marga and I had both wanted to focus what we were doing more on the committee rather than the scattergun approach that we had been taking. So we sat down with our team and basically discussed what we want to do and how we want to get it done. And as part of our team, we decided we wanted to be more focused geographically and that we'd invest 75% of our funds in Latin America for the next couple of years. We also wanted to focus on healthcare in general and education and environmental projects. And thirdly, we wanted to make more of an impact in the communities that we were trying to help by making bigger, more involved projects. So that's essentially what we've been doing. Right now, we're focusing on developing the applications for 4 global grants that we hope to present to Rotary International for approval, and as well as District 5450 this year. The total grants, the total amount of the grants is $360,000, which is fairly significant. And at this point, we've allocated $27,000 of the funds we have available to those projects. So it's a fairly significant investment for each of them. 3 of the grants are in Bolivia, and we're partnering with an Evanston organization called Solidarity Bridge in Bolivia on those. They have a partner organization in Bolivia, and their business model is essentially to work with not-for-profits like us to purchase the equipment, which they facilitate the purchase of, the installation of, and the training of the hospital personnel to use it in Bolivia. We've done, I think, 2 other projects with them in the past, And we have these 3 that we'll work on this year, and we have 2 more in reserve for next year. One is will be surgical equipment to be able to drill into the brain. Right now, they actually use manual saws to get in there and do work. And so this will be a little bit better. And the good thing is the training gets done. That project is about a $60,000 project, and we've raised over 1/3 of the funds on the project at this point. Committees are, I should talk about our 4th project, pardon me. The 4th project is in Mexico, and we're working with Smile Train, which one of our members, Ellen, is on, works for Smile Train, and they do cleft projects. And Smile Train has centers all over the world, and a number in Mexico, where they do treatment for cleft. Our proposal is to train 6 plastic surgeon, and I'll screw up this word, maxillofacial surgeons to do, to get cleft experience, plus about 114 other folks. So, and that project's just under $100,000. We're in the fundraising on all except the Mexico project right now, and we're reaching out to hopefully find a partner for that project so we can get onto it. The other major grant that we've made this year, and this was in conjunction with the Rotary Club, is we pledged $2,500 to the Lebanese disaster. The club matched that, and then Khaled, our past president, matched both of those, so that was $10,000, and club members have donated an additional $3,000. So in total, we've provided $13,000 to the Lebanese disaster, which I think is just phenomenal. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Betsy. That's a great summary. And as always, you guys are very busy and doing some great stuff. Thank you. So next we have community service. So I'm going to kick it over to Sarah and Wes.
Hi. So just to give a little bit of a background similar to what Betsy said, the Community Service Committee also did a little mini strategic plan, and based on projects that we've been involved with in the past, we have decided to focus our committee on education and disease prevention. So 75% of our budget is for projects geared towards education or disease prevention, and then that leaves us 25% for other worthwhile causes that come our way. So we just wanted to highlight a few things that are in the pipeline, and I'm going to turn it over to Wes to fill us in on those. Wes, I think you're muted. There we go.
Here we go. We are not as far along as international service is. We have had a number of projects discussed. Some have been executed. We have participated, as we always do, in the Jesse White trunk party. We have delivered a lot of meals to first responders. There's a volunteer effort for the Diabetes Foundation. And finally, we participated in some food distribution activities, looking at a number of projects. And in addition, and perhaps unusual in a way for a community service committee, because we were with the other of the first 5 clubs to come up with some sort of a project to address homelessness. Last meeting, we had a presentation by someone who works in this area, who really gave us some things to focus on, among them the differences between the West Coast and Chicago. West Coast having horrendous housing costs, which has caused the number of homeless to go up dramatically. And obviously there are some climactic differences, especially now that we have, it seems like the whole West Coast is ablaze. So we have some things to work on that, but we will make progress on that. And with that, we have the assistance of Marshall Schmidt. Those are some of the things we're doing. I would expect that by the next club assembly that we would have much more to say to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Wes. Anything else, Sarah?
No, I think Wes summed it up very nicely.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, and we have no doubt that you guys are busy or will be busy, and I know that there's a lot of stuff brewing. So all good. So now our third service committee, job one, we'll hand it over to committee chair Alita Williams. Alita, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So for job one, we wrapped up from this year, which we're very excited again to say that we were able to place most of our students this summer in the midst of a pandemic, virtually and in person. And we still had employers, so that was great. So we are now gearing up for the new year. The committee members are reviewing the application, see if it's still relevant. And oh, look, how cute. And just getting that all set up. In the last 2 years, we went to a virtual platform an online platform to apply for the scholarship and to be in job one. We launched a new scholarship this year in honor of Carl Zimmerman, and that passed away very suddenly. So that was something awesome. So we are in the midst of just gearing up for the new year. Looking for any members who are interested in being a part of the committee, and also looking for ideas for a successful virtual fundraiser for job one, so that we can keep assisting students to going off to college. I think that's about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Alita. And as always, right, we always need more employers. So for people who are new members, if you can find a spot for a fantastic intern next summer, or you know somebody else who might be able to do that, that is always in high demand. So now we're going to move on from service to our newest committee, which, as you saw at the beginning when I went through the strategic plan, was one of the items in that plan that we've implemented, which is creating a PR and marketing committee. And so we have our committee co-chair here, Marilyn Lopez, who's going to tell you about what the committee has been up to, and then do a little tutorial, on social media. Marilyn, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eric. So as Eric so wonderfully put at the beginning during the strategic plan, we started in June of this year. Our goal is to raise visibility for our club. We have monthly meetings the third Thursday of every month at 4 p.m. So if you are interested in learning more about that committee, feel free to send me a private chat or a public chat, doesn't matter. And I can get you all the information. Just give me your email address, or you can find it on the Gyrator or on our wonderful new website. Just was up and running last week. So if you haven't checked out our new website, rotary1.org, please do. And now, oh wait, one last thing, the Gyrator. Yes, how many of us read the Gyrator? Hopefully everyone raises their hands, or at least glances at the Gyrator, because social media outlets are on there, all our social media outlets. So if you click on the Facebook little icon, I don't know if we have Instagram, LinkedIn, just click on them and connect with us. That is how you can help the club spread the word, because me alone, I can only get the message so far, and Eric as well. But if we all forward all our events and our activities to our networks, we can really do some really good damage, is how I like to put it. So Now I'm going to have Carly, who's actually in Rotaract, and she joined our committee, which I think is really cool that Rotaract is joining our committees. And she's going to do a Facebook presentation on how to share the post, a repost or a new post. So Carly, take it away. I believe I've sent the presentation over, so it should pop up.
Yes, I got it right here.
Cool.
So we'll start with, first of all, why is it important? It's great to tag us on Facebook. It's a great way for us to see what you're saying about Rotary One. And then if it's something that you're comfortable with, it's something that we can share to our followers and prospective members that might be checking out our Facebook page. We appreciate you tagging any pictures, videos, or statuses about your time with Rotary One and any events you attend. So where to start? When you open up Facebook, there's this lovely little bar at the top that'll ask you what's on your mind. So just start typing whatever you want to say about Rotary One there. And when you're ready to tag the Rotary One page, just put the @ symbol before you start typing. And then it should show up. The more you tag Rotary One, the higher up it's going to show up. So at first you might have to type out the entire Rotary word or even Rotary Space Club before it shows up. But after a few posts, Facebook kind of figures it out and it should show up pretty quickly for you. So it'll show up like it did on this right here. You just click it and you'll know that it was successful because it will be highlighted in blue. And then you can go ahead and finish saying whatever it is that you want to say, share pictures, videos. So that's a great way for just anything you have that you want to share about your experience or any events or anything. And then also a great way to help make people aware of what events we have going on is sharing our posts that the Rotary One Facebook page makes. So at the bottom of every post on the Facebook, you'll see the option to like, comment, or share. So if you want to share, say you wanted to share this upcoming event, you would just click the share in the bottom right-hand corner, and it's going to give you a list of options like this. So if you hit share now friends, that's just going to automatically share the post as it is onto your page. Maybe you have something you want to say about it, you're super excited about the speaker or whatever. If you hit share to newsfeed, it'll pull it up to where you can type out a post and then share the event with your comments on it. Send in Messenger, you can send it directly to a friend that you know might be interested in the event, and that'll just be private between the two of you. Say you're in a group, like a local neighborhood group or just any group on Facebook that you think might appreciate what the event is. Share to group will help you share to them. Share to page allows you to share to a different page on Facebook, probably one that is going to be the least used of any of them. And then if you have one friend that you know is going to be interested in it, you can also just share it to their timeline. They'll be able to see the event as well as any of their friends on Facebook will be able to see it. So unlike the message where it's just private between the two of you, this will be a public post. But yeah, so that is that. Don't forget to like our page and tag us in your next post about Rotary One. Yeah. And super excited to see everybody's posts and events.
Awesome.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, Eric, go ahead. Thank you very much.
No, it's back to you, Marilyn.
Really cool thing, just a last quick thing. If you guys are on LinkedIn, like the way Eric and I are every day, you can actually create an event. We just learned last week, because I was playing around with it, that you can actually create an event for like when Joe, awesome Criminal Minds actor, was on there. I actually could have created an event in there and blasted it out to everyone on LinkedIn. I didn't know I could do that. So for those of you who are LinkedIn gurus, you can actually create an event for like a high speaker, like someone that we're really excited about, and invite everyone that you are connected with on LinkedIn. So that's something that's really cool that I weren't aware of, but we can use, and it's free. Thanks, Eric.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Marilyn. And then moving right along, speaking of PR and marketing, PR and Marketing Committee member Mark Smith has something that he wants to share with us that he has created, and that will also be a nice transition into our discussion of the annual campaign. Mark, the floor is yours.
Sure. So I think we can all agree Rotary does a lot of things in Chicago, but I think we can all agree that not everyone knows how much Rotary does in Chicago. So I wanted to make a quick video that kind of showed off some of what we do around the local area. And this video doesn't show anything we do like internationally that Betsy talked about. This is literally just things in Chicagoland that we do. So what I did was just took a bunch of video we had from these Zoom calls. I mean, I didn't even take anything before that. So this is literally just the last like 3 months, and just aggregate it together to make a video that we can just kind of use to pass around. You can use within Rotary, send it outside of Rotary, just so people have an idea of what Rotary does in the area. So if we'll go to this video that's just a little collage, a little aggregate of everything we do. And hopefully it works, because I know we've had some issues with videos in the past on Zoom, but here's hoping.
This year, we were able to provide 500 young people with the supplies they recently need in order to go off to college and be prepared for that wonderful experience.
Rotary One's signature project gives the students valuable work experience and contacts that can positively impact their future. Job One has provided over 400 students with summer internships since its inception.
Our main program is our Scholarship Award Program, which some of you may know as Rotary One is a partner of our Incentive Award Program. And what we do, starting way back 50 years ago, is we provide direct support to aspiring engineers. Annually, CEF is presenting up to 100 scholarship awards to students working towards engineering degrees.
IMD Guest House is an independent nonprofit, so we're in the Illinois Medical District, but we're not formally connected with it. We provide temporary lodging for medical patients and their families when they come to Chicago for medical treatment.
Rotary One is, as I mentioned, a partner of our Scholarship Award Program and has been following 3 students for the last 4 years now, providing that $5,000 of support to each of our students. They are going to be graduating this spring, May 2021. Elizabeth, David, and Brett will be graduating from their engineering schools thanks in partnership, which is an incredible thing, to our friends at Rotary One Chicago. And on behalf of our students, on behalf of our leadership, we thank you so much for this level of partnership and for following our students as they have worked so hard to complete their studies.
Where the Rotary funding really came in for us, and where it was especially helpful this year, was during the COVID period. So we never closed down during the COVID period. We always stayed open because people still need that kind of treatment.
But I just wanted to say to all of the Rotarians, this year in particular, you guys truly exemplified your motto of service above self. We could not have done this year's event without your unwavering support.
We qualified for support from Rotary One, and we're very grateful for it, for a grant just to help us continue to operate.
I wanted this opportunity to share with you my gratitude. I've had 2 sons come through the program. This is absolutely one of the best programs in the city of Chicago.
You guys were incredible this year, more so than any year. Every year you've been great, but this year, because of this pandemic, we would not have been able to do this without Rotary. So I just wanted to say that once again. I can't say it enough, because behind the scenes, no one really knows what it took to make this year's event happen. This year was truly a challenge, but you guys rose to that challenge.
I just want to thank everybody again for this amazing opportunity, because, I definitely need the scholarship. College is not cheap, especially Iowa State. So, I just wanted to thank everybody again for this amazing opportunity.
So I just wanted to say I'm so appreciative of this program. I want to thank Ms. Williams. I want to thank Steadfast and all of you Rotarians for your support. It really means the world to me. Thank you.
With all that said, thank you so much for your support.
Again, we thank you so much for your partnership over these last many years, and we look forward to many more partnerships to come. Thank you for being part of our Scholarship Award Program. Thank you for volunteering your time. I know there's many volunteers on this call and within Rotary who help us every day.
And I just want Rotary to understand that we deeply appreciate their giving and caring spirit, and for their involvement in this wonderful program.
Through our fellowship of diverse ethical individuals, we work together to have a transformative impact on our community. Not only does Rotary One work with the Jesse White Foundation, IMD Guest House, and Chicago Engineers Foundation, we fund and implement dozens of service projects around Chicago.
Bueno, espérenme un minuto, ok.
Wow. Well, if that doesn't move you, I don't know what does. Thank you very much, Mark. That is absolutely incredible. I think that is going to be such a great addition to how we are able to promote the club. And with that, I think we have nicely set the table for beginning the discussion of the launch of the annual campaign. And with that, I'm going to hand the floor over to our president-elect, Marga Huco. Marga, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, well, as you know, those of you who are old members, this is the time of the year where we launch our annual fund campaign. And we're starting a bit earlier this year because we thought it was a good idea. And we call the campaign this year, Move the Needle. And you're going to see in a slide our goals for the year. We have two foundations to which we contribute. One of them is the Rotary One Foundation that finances the type of work that you've seen that we do, both in the international and the and local projects. And the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International that also supports the work that we do, and it's a really good investment because the money we donate to the Rotary Foundation comes back to us in that special type of funds that I will have past district governor and past president of our club, Pedro Ceballos, who will explain to you the technicalities of how can we donate to both foundations. Thank you very much, and Pedro, the floor is yours now.
Well, thank you, Marga. Good afternoon. And those of you that know me know that doing grants it's really my call in Rotary. So I've been working on grants for many years. I have done many grants all over the world, especially in South America. And currently, I'm chair of the grants committee of the district. So anyway, so we have two foundations, and it's really important that we donate to both. As Marga was saying, we have our very own Rotary One Foundation. So this foundation has been there for a long time, has its own board of directors. The current chairman of the board is Mike Faris, who is a past president of the club. And they had a corpus in the foundation of approximately $3 million. I don't have the exact number, but it's around there. It's around, even take a few thousands, it's about $3 million. They are also, so every year, the Rotary One Foundation invests that money. There is an investment committee that it's members of the club that serve in that capacity. And with those returns are used to fund some of the projects that were being described before, you know. So we ask also money for two different ways in the Rotary One Foundation. One is to increase the corpus of the foundation. And, you can do that just by saying, okay, I want to give a certain amount of money that will be into the corpus of the foundation to increase the donations in long term. Or you can even put that in your will and leave it as an option, as a legacy, as many members have done, you know. So with that money, every year the Rotary Foundation allocates certain amount of money based on the investment returns and in the donations to fund the projects that were described. Operations it wasn't described, but operations is a big part of what we do. So operations need to be funded somehow. So that comes from the Rotary One Foundation. We have the International Service Committee, in which we always have to put seed money for projects that we do abroad. We have the Community Committee that with all the projects that were done locally, they had to be funded somehow, and Job One. So those are the 4 areas in which money that's donated to the Rotary One Foundation is allocated. So every year we ask for your generosity to contribute money to the Rotary One Foundation. Now, we also have the Rotary International Foundation, which is the umbrella that covers all the activities of Rotary through the world. And that money is earmarked more to do district grants and global grants. The way that works is any monies that the club contributes to the annual fund of the Rotary One Foundation come back 3 years later to the club. And as a form of 50%. 50% goes to contribute to projects all over the world, 50% returns to the club. So by doing any donation to the Rotary International Foundation, you are actually contributing money that's going to be used later in the form of global grants or district grants. The Rotary International Foundation also has all kinds of options for donors. You know, there is a legacy for people that want to put the donations in the wills. There is special donations for peace centers. There's special donations for relief of disaster relief, and there are also special donations in donor advice funds. There is even the opportunity, if you are interested in buying retirement options with the foundations like annuities. The Rotary Foundation offers annuities that are partially tax free. So that's an option that more and more people are using these days. You know, that interest rates are so low, still some of the annuities provide a good avenue for retirement planning. So those are the two foundations, and I encourage you to donate as much as you can. All the money that you donate to both foundations is tax deductible, so you will get the tax relief especially at the end of the year when you are doing your tax planning. Think about some donations to either foundation, or better to both foundations, as part of your tax planning for the end of the year. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to call me at any time. And we have a whole team in the district that works with these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro, very much. And we invite the new members especially to contribute, and this is what allows us to do all the projects that we do. We're also searching or researching ideas for
Uh-oh. I think we may have lost Marga. Marga, you're breaking up. Okay. I think we may have lost Marga. I know sometimes she has some internet service issues at home. So why don't we move on to the next part of our agenda then? If there's anything more that we want to talk about with the annual campaign, we can always do that again at the end of the meeting for those who want to stick around and learn more. And so that's a nice foray into our next piece here, which is going through a quick website demonstration. We're going to focus on on registration and annual campaign, how to contribute there through the new website, which you all hopefully know now exists and went live last week. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to Shelby. Shelby, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Eric. As Eric said, I'm going to stay on the line after the meeting. So if anyone has any troubleshooting questions regarding the website, registering for events, making a donation, feel free to stay on, or you can always give us a call or email office@rotary1.club. So I'm just going to do a brief overview of how you would contribute to the annual campaign. I will share my screen. All right, here is the website. To contribute to the annual campaign, you would simply scroll down, click on the annual campaign photo, and you'll see here we have the opportunity to donate to Rotary One Foundation or the Rotary Foundation. And when we launched the website, we did set everyone's default passwords as Rotary with a capital R. So if you want to go in and make a contribution or register for an event immediately, we're going to go through the steps of using that password, and then I'll quickly show you how to reset your password too. So let's say you want to contribute to the Rotary One Foundation. You would simply click the link, and then you would enter your username, which is your email. This is populating with mine. And like I said, we reset all the default passwords to Rotary. So you enter capital R, lowercase O-T-A-R-Y, and click the login button. It'll populate your name, hit continue. And then you would simply complete this form and enter your donation amount in this field. Once you've completed the form, you just hit proceed and verify confirmation. So that's it for contributing to Rotary One Foundation. I also just want to quickly go over, let me get out of here, go over how you would donate to the Rotary Foundation. And this link simply takes you to Rotary International, where again, you would just pick your fund and complete the form. So now let's talk about how you would register for an event. You can go to our homepage and scroll down to the upcoming events section. And let's say I want to register for our September 29th event. I would click the more information link. I would then click the register button. And this is a similar process to making the donation. Enter your username, which is your email address. If you have not changed your password, you want to enter the default password, which is again capital R, lowercase O-T-A-R-Y, and then click the login button. It will populate your information, hit continue. And then select that you are a member. This is not a paid event, so you do not have to put in a member registration type, but if it were a paid event, you could select whether you're Easy Pay, Pay As You Go, or Rotaract, hit proceed. And then proceed to confirmation, and you'll receive your confirmation screen. Then you can simply close this browser window. To return to the website, click anywhere on the page, and it'll take you right back to the home page. And the last thing I want to go over is how to change your password from the default. You would go to member login. And actually, I'm logged in. I'm going to log out. On the login screen, again, you enter your email address and the default password, Rotary with a capital R. You do not need to enter a club number. Just hit the login button. Hit close. And then what you're going to do is go to the My Data tab. And you are going to edit your member record. And then click the Login tab. And just type in your new password right here. I'm just going to set mine as the default again. Once you do that, make sure to click the Update button up in the top right-hand corner here. And then again, you can close this out and return to the home page. That's all I have. Again, feel free to stay on after the call and I can answer any specific troubleshooting questions.
Thank you very much, Shelby. That's extremely helpful. And hopefully we'll all get the hang of this soon enough. again, hopefully you like the look and feel of the page itself. Obviously, as you saw, there's kind of the front end, and then there's the back end where all the actual data and information is stored. And that back end gives us a lot more power and a lot more capabilities in terms of the information that's in there, our ability to search for information and collect information and so forth. So again, thank you very much, Shelby, for all the work. Really, Shelby and the whole CAM team have put in a ton of work behind the scenes to make that website a reality, and they continue to do it as we give back our feedback and look for other things that need updating and so forth. So it's kind of a continuous improvement here. So you've heard a lot so far today about what the club is going through and what we're doing through our committees, how we're increasing our service opportunities, the impact that we're having in Chicago and globally. So again, as we've said multiple times, we'll stick around after 1:20. If any of you have any questions, you're also welcome to reach out to me or any of the board members or any of the committee chairs you heard today with questions. And it is now time to allow our guests to introduce themselves. And looking at our participants here, looks like, and we spoke at the beginning before the meeting started, but we do have an international Rotarian here with us today, Naveen Gupta. Naveen, could you just unmute yourself and briefly just introduce yourself, your name, and your club and your district?
Hello everyone, I am Naveen Gupta, Rotarian Naveen Gupta from Rotary Club, Pinjore Hills. It's under RA District 3080, India. And it's a small, our club is a very small club, and we have only 25 members. And but we have, our district is very vibrant district in our country. We have in our district PRID Rajendra K. Sabu is the international president, Rotary international president in year 1986, I think. Then it's a very good district covering almost 5 states of India. 5 states of India, and this contains 85 clubs in our district.
Wow, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Naveen, for that introduction. We'll be coming back to you later. And I want to see, are there any other guests here on the Zoom call today? I'm not seeing any. So I guess that sort of compensates for last week when we had about 60 guests on, so it all averages out in the end, I suppose. But that's fine. We have a lot of announcements to get through today because there are so many exciting things that our club is up to. I want to make sure that I share all of this information with you. So first of all, we have a service project coming up this Saturday, a volunteer opportunity. This is basically through the Chicago chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi and through our member Wayman Anderson. We're going to be supporting the Woodlawn Community Produce Pantry at 500 East 67th Street at the Edward G. Irvin Foundation Achievement Center. And that's from approximately 10 to 2. They want volunteers to show up between about 10 to 11 to get briefed. And then the actual event is from 11 to 2. And the sign up for that is in the chat box right now. Basically, what is going to be going on there is we're going to be providing fresh produce to those in need, free face masks. They're going to have COVID-19 screening. And then there's also distribution of voter education materials to help people get registered to vote. And so Rotarians will be stepping in as utility players wherever we need to. I think that's probably mostly going to be in the distribution of the voter education materials at this time, but it will step up wherever we need to step up. So do go into the chat box there. You can find the information about where to sign up, or as always, reach out to me or Karen or anybody at CAM. But this is a good opportunity again to step up and make sure that we're visible in the community. Speaking of being visible in the community and stepping up, and Wes kind of alluded to this as well. There's this First Five initiative, the First Five Rotary Initiative. This is basically the first 5 Rotary clubs in the history of the universe that have gotten together and started planning a service project. But to sort of tee up the service project, we're having another joint meeting, a joint program for the members of our 5 clubs on October 7th at 5 o'clock Central Time. It's going to be focused on serving the homeless, and you'll learn more about this brewing service project. That project, the first of, again, as Wes talked about, of hopefully more to come, but the first service project is going to be something that's relatively simple to implement, and that's going to be on November 14th. And I really want to call this sort of an all-hands volunteer activity. I'd really love to see people stepping up for this one because we want to get out to as many places around the city on November 14th as possible. All 5 clubs in 5 cities, so that's San Francisco, Oakland, Seattle, LA, and of course Chicago, simultaneously are going to be out on the streets handing out hygiene kits. But we're going to do so much more that day. We're going to be connecting the homeless with other services. We're working with a safe haven. We're working with the night ministry. We're working with the Salvation Army. We're going to try to be at as many locations as possible, handing out these hygiene kits. And when I'm talking about handing out hygiene kits, I'm talking about something on the order of magnitude of 2,000 to 2,500 hygiene kits. So just so you understand the scale and the scope that we're talking about. And so we need people out there to support this. And again, we're going to be providing other information on services and connecting them with services. The night ministry will have their medical buses out there and so forth. So please stay tuned, but do block out your calendar for November 14th. If you're not comfortable due to COVID or other reasons being out, handing those out, in the weeks beforehand, we will likely need some assistance packing some of these kits or packing other materials. So if you can, support us that way. I'm giving you a long amount of advance notice. We have yet another joint meeting coming up. I've already mentioned a couple here, but this one also very relevant, very poignant with what's been going on in our city and around the country. But it is a panel discussion on gun violence. And it is actually in partnership with the Rotary Club of Harlem. Our very own Evan Freund has been very instrumental in putting together that panel and in organizing this event as well. And he will be sharing a little bit about Rotary International's Positive Peace Initiative as part of that meeting. That'll be on, again, Thursday, October 1st at 6 p.m. Central. It is a fantastic panel. It's a passionate group of people who have been there, who have some of whom are ex-gang members, some of whom have been out, who are out on the street, some of whom who have lost children to gun violence. So if you want to hear some raw information about how this affects people's lives, but also hear about solutions and how Rotary can be involved in those solutions, then please join that meeting. Other announcements, a lot of other activities going on as well. The Boy Scouts of America, very own Marilyn Lopez, they have October 5th, a golf classic, 8th annual golf classic. You can sign up for that. It is in the chat box. If you like to golf, do support one of our partners. Another one of our partners is the IMD Guest House. You heard from them in Mark's video. They have a free virtual cocktail party on October 8th. The link for that is also in the chat box. Our very own Walt, the Wiki, is very involved with the Better Business Bureau. The Better Business Bureau every year, and they came as a speaker, by the way, last year. Every year they give out something called the Torch Awards. They have a variety of awards in a variety of categories, but they need judges. Being a judge is a great way to connect with other business leaders, is a great way to network, particularly at this time of COVID-19. They are looking for judges. If you want to be a judge, reach out to me or reach out to Walt Stawicki, and we will get you hooked up. The actual award ceremony itself is December 10th, so there's a little bit of time, and it is all virtual. One more quick little announcement I want to squeeze in here. Marga and I have been interacting with a group called the Fraternité Notre Dame, which is a French order of nuns who, believe it or not, are members of our club. You may have met some of them before, and they really help the homeless population in Chicago. But they're sort of hurting these days as they've kind of shut down operations due to COVID-19. One of the ways that they raise money is by selling baked goods. So if you liked fresh, organic French pastries, cakes, breads, and I mean, who doesn't? I mean, if you're a Rotarian, you've got to like these things. They're consistent with the four-way test, right? A nice almond croissant is definitely fair to all concerned. So please support them. I don't have the link with me today, but reach out to Marga or myself. You can order online, you can have it delivered, you can go up to their shop in Wilmette. It's delicious stuff. So we also have, as always, our upcoming committee meetings. Again, we want to be transparent. So Community Service Committee, October 1st, PR and Marketing, October 15th, International Service, October 22nd, and then the board meeting on October 6th. All are welcome to attend any of those meetings. They're all on our calendars. Feel free to join and contribute your know-how and your knowledge and your time and your experience. And then we have, of course, our Friday roundtables. I know many of you on this call have been to the reinstated roundtables. They're going really well. Thank you to those who have come and have joined that. It's really great to see a lot of you in person. I will try to be there this Friday as well at noon at the Union League Club of Chicago. And then our next regular Tuesday programs, we still do have those as well. It seems like there's a lot of other things going on, but we still have our regular Tuesday programs. I know Laura already mentioned John Crowley, Chairman and CEO of Amicus Therapeutics. Really great, huge organization doing a lot in the space of genetics. And then October 6th, we have our Rotary After Work. You can join via Zoom. There will be a Zoom option, but it will also be in person at the beautiful Glessner House. And you're going to be treated, hopefully, to a little bit of blues music and learn about the blues camp that Fernando Jones has founded. So a lot going on. But with that, before we close our meeting, as always, we'll want to recite the four-way test. And so I'd like to ask our international guest, Naveen Gupta, to please recite for our members the four-way test. Naveen, the floor is yours. Oh, unmute yourself, Naveen. You're on mute.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to say the four-way test. The four-way test, it's an amazing thing in Rotary, and not only Rotary, it's an amazing thing to moral code of conduct to use in every aspect of life. The four-way test is: number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerns? Number three, will it build goodwill and better relationships? And fourth is, will it be beneficial to all concerned? This is our four-way test, and it's an amazing thing.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Naveen. That's perfect. Thanks for joining us today. Again, for anybody who has additional questions on anything we've talked about today, myself and a few others will stick around here. But with that, meeting adjourned.